My Weird School 5, Miss Mole is Off the Wall. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pollock. Chapter 9, Fit as a Fiddle. Luckily for us, nobody got tagged by Miss Mole on the way back to home base. Luckily for us, that is, but not so lucky for Miss Mole. She was still lying there on the ground under the tree, so we all ran back to her. "Are you okay?" we all asked as we gathered around her. "My leg," she moaned, and there was a pain all over her face. That crybaby Emily started crying, so did a few other kids. To be honest, I almost felt like crying myself, but I didn't. Instead, I ran to get our school nurse, Mrs. Cooney. Mrs. Cooney came running out of the school with a first aid kit. "Oh dear," Mrs. Cooney said when she saw Miss Mole lying under the tree. She got down on her hands and knees to examine Miss Mole. "You should put a Band-Aid on her leg and kiss it," Michael told Mrs. Cooney. "That's what my mom does when I get hurt." "Your mom is weird," I told Michael. "She's going to need more than a Band-Aid and a kiss," Mrs. Cooney told us. "This leg is broken." Mrs. Cooney called for an ambulance on her cell phone, and it arrived just a couple of minutes later. Some guys got out, and they put Miss Mole on a stretcher and carried it into the ambulance. We asked them to put their siren on when they drove to the hospital, but they wouldn't. It was still cool anyway, having an ambulance right on the playground. As soon as we got back to class, we all wrote to get will cards to Miss Mole. They must have worked, because just a few days later, she was back at school. She had a big cast on her leg and crutches to help her walk, and she was smiling. I thought phys ed would be canceled for a few weeks until Miss Mole got better, but the day after Miss Mole was back, Miss Daisy told us to line up for phys ed. When we got to the gym, Miss Mole was standing there with her crutches, waiting for us. "I'm fit as a fiddle," she said. "Let's have fun." Even though she was hobbling around, Miss Mole still wanted to play games. We played some more ghosts in the graveyard, but nobody was allowed to climb the tree this time. Miss Mole also taught us how to play Red Light, Green Light, Red Rover, Spud, London Bridge, Mother May I, and this really cool game called the Duck Duck Goose. I still wish we could have played basketball and football and baseball and sports like that. But those corny games Miss Mole taught us were actually kind of fun, I had to admit. Maybe phys ed wasn't so bad after all.